amour shipping. The idea that Ash and Serena should end up together in a romantic relationship. Pokemon Ranger Boy 12, I am looking at you. This is the ship. This is it. Ash is meant to end up with Serena. Why? Well, there's actually quite a lot of reasons. First off, Serena's romantic feelings for Ash are made more obvious than any other character ever in Pokemon. You know, there are characters where it's canon that they had feelings for Ash, but this is so much more obvious. It's constant. It's all throughout the series. She definitely has very strong romantic feelings for him that started when they were little kids when he helped her in the forest. Like, that's a big deal. But you know what else? You know what else? She kissed him. She literally kissed him. That's the only time any characters in the Pokemon universe, I believe, have kissed on the lips. The only reason it wasn't showed is because the anime makers were concerned about it being allowed to be shown on TV, so they, cleverly censored it in a way that still made it obvious, but didn't actually show it because they didn't want to worry about the show not being put on the air.
What's going on? So, on February 28th, I made a video addressing Ash Ketchum experiencing 2 kisses from 2 different girls on the lips. May from the Hoenn region, and Serena from the Kalos region. The reason I'm making this video is partly to explain the terminologies I've been using, which include kissing, getting kissed, and experiencing a kiss on the lips, and partly to explain some more of the things I've mentioned, for people who might be open to all those things, but at the same time are still skeptical about a kiss under the mistletoe's existence. Previously, I made some statements about kissing, getting kissed, and experiencing a kiss, especially on the lips. I've addressed this in the description of the last video. See, kissing is an action of touching someone with your lips as a sign of affection. Getting kissed means someone touched you with their lips. Lastly, the saying of experiencing a kiss applies to both. The reason I think it's important to think about it that way is because you have to analyze the scenarios. When comparing 2 kisses from 2 different girls, whether you kissed or got kissed, I used the terminology of experiencing a kiss to describe both situations. For example, in that one clip from what everybody calls a kiss under the mistletoe, Ash and May mutually move closer and closer to touch each other as they are about to kiss. So Ash and May kissed. That's why I describe it as May kissed Ash and Ash kissed May. So, if you ignore amour shipping for a minute, this would be the first time Ash ever kissed a girl or experienced a kiss on the lips. On the other hand, with Serena, as she climbs back up the escalator, she leans forward to kiss Ash, but what is his reaction? It's not a big blush, like the way everybody else reacted. Instead, it's more something along the lines of, "You're a good friend, Serena." Plus, Ash didn't expect such a thing to happen. So I wouldn't count that as a matter of Ash and Serena kissed the way Manned JTV and other amour shippers describe it, but rather more like Serena kissed Ash. Nothing else. I had a discussion with a viewer who was confused about where I got these arguments and conclusions from, so I thought I would talk about them more in this video. Because I don't want to mislead viewers who are still skeptical about a kiss under the mistletoe's existence, despite everything I said, I thought I would explain everything I said some more. First, there's the YouTube viewer Grail Mercenary. He explains why it's real, even though you can't find it on the internet. This is because it only aired in Japan, and because Japanese parents complained about 2 young characters kissing on the lips, it was not allowed to air in other countries. So according to Grail and his friend who met Satoshi Tajiri, the only way to see it is to go to Japan. While the viewer I alluded to acknowledges this, at the same time, They also stated you can't be too sure as they may be misguiding you. I mentioned why I believe Grail, but for those who don't know, this is because everyone who keeps saying it was only in Japan don't explain with more information for some reason, when others ask for more. But Grail does explain more by saying his friend has met creators from Marvel, Sega, and Nintendo, and it's rare for someone like him to say that. I understand that there are random personalities who will misguide you online, but one thing is for certain. The only way to know if it's real is to go to Japan. Taking those screenshots are also the only evidence I have so far, so that Nintendo won't sue me. See, the only way this episode would be online is if Satoshi Tajiri decided to post it. If someone did it without permission, that person would get into a whole lot of trouble. Remember the YouTuber TC who first uploaded that? I don't know how they got their hands on that clip and went without getting sued, but it was on YouTube for long enough for Grail to make that comment. There's a common complaint that some people make about how it's fake because of the way Ash and May move. It looks like a bunch of drawings fading into each other, and whoever animated this probably isn't experienced enough to make it look smooth and natural. But even for professional animators, that's what they do. It's called slow motion. I've said this in my previous video, but I'll play a clip for a recap.
In a book I read titled Timing for Animation, on page 47, there's a paragraph that reads, "Closely spaced drawings tend to jitter, if not drawn with great accuracy, if the distance are not worked out precisely. In cartoons, as a rule, very slow motion should be avoided. It is better left to live action, but if it must be done, make sure that the movement contains sufficient rhythm, bounce, and flexibility. The drawings also need extremely careful tracing. Sometimes it is preferable to advance the animation by short camera dissolves, a camera fade of one image into another, or by adding digital motion blur rather than laboriously filling in every in-between."
What the paragraph is saying is if you want to create slow motion by drawing lots of in-betweens, it would be too difficult and time-consuming. The amount of frames and space they have determines how fast and slow they are. Sometimes they might even extend the length of the frames, too. It all depends on what the animators want to do. Not only that, but for the other arguments I made, some of you might be wondering where I got them from. I actually figured them out as possibilities on my own from a self-taught perspective, as an animation fan and actor who is currently filming a web series. To make more arguments, I needed to consider everything from Grail Mercenary, the technique of slow motion, and look at other reasons why some people say it's fake. What could I say to debate what they're saying? The debate I made about the white background, I found that from a Wattpad user. They ask why was there no background while Ash and May move in closely. As a 2D animation fan, I think what's going on is that the animators probably want their audience to draw their attention to them. In fact, animes with romantic scenes like that include simple backgrounds sometimes. Like, for example, take this clip from Rosario and Vampire. Between that and the technique of slow motion, I think what the animators wanted was to give you vibes of, come on, closer, closer, just a little more. Yes! They did it! They did it! They kissed! So, if you produce something like that, and your viewers react that way, the episode is doing its job. Remember that these worlds are animated. They can do whatever they want with their characters. This question can be interpreted in two different ways. The first way I'll answer that is it was an animator who works on the show. See, keeping Grail's comment in mind, that's the answer. Everybody involved put so much effort into animating Ash, May, and adding motion blur or whatever kind of effect to play it in slow motion. But to answer that question in a way where people say it's fan-made, that's the problem. If the advanced shipping kiss is fan-made, what is the name of the person who made it? Why aren't their social medias added on the screen or at the end of the shot? Why didn't they make sure the viewers were aware of that in the description? My argument here is, take a look at this fake uncensored amor shipping kiss. At the clip of Serena directly leaning towards Ash to kiss him, there's a name called Benki Tunes on the right corner. So I searched for him and found the links to his Twitter, DeviantArt, and Facebook accounts. It's clear he made sure his viewers were aware it's fan-made. He even uploaded a video of himself animating that called Ash and Serena Kiss Animation, layer by layer. Going back to the advanced kiss, that's the issue with people who say it's 100% fan-made. Because if you don't know where to find their social medias, you can't confirm that. Now some of you might be thinking, well then, if it is real and banned, how did this person get their hands on the clip and post it without getting sued? Maybe they might have gotten permission from Satoshi Tajiri or found a way to post it under the fair use subject. But either way, like I said before, this video was posted long enough for Grail Mercenary to say the only way to see a kiss under the mistletoe is to go to Japan. The reason I made the last video on this subject is because people are trying so hard to be sure that it's not real. But the only way to truly be sure is to go to Japan and ask Satoshi Tajiri. And if Grail Mercenary says his friend said Tajiri said yes, maybe it is real. So I thought I would show that to you guys. As for those other arguments I made, from the concept of slow motion to how a romantic atmosphere is set up with simple backgrounds, these are backup arguments to counter the ones I researched, when people say it's fake. Now, you guys don't have to use my debates to be sure it's real. I just want to encourage as many people as possible to keep an open mind and think about these things. If you're not sure a kiss under the mistletoe is real, just go to Japan and ask Tajiri. Since I uploaded the last video, reactions in the comments were mixed. While some reacted as I at least gave them something to think about, others dismissed it as I just hate Serena and post a comment trying to make me change my mind already. No surprise considering I said, who am I kidding? Because of course, while they admit the uncensored amor kiss is fake, they won't think about the debates I made about the advanced kiss likely being real. I suspect that they believe if they think about asking Tajiri if a kiss under the mistletoe is real, and he says yes, they might get their hopes of amor shipping crushed and change to advanced shipping. But that's not what I'm here to say. I'm not necessarily trying to force anyone to change to advanced shipping. What I am here to say is next time you want to say it's fake for whatever reason, I recommend thinking about the possibilities I've argued about. Or maybe ask Satoshi Tajiri. YouTubers like MandJTV, HDV, and Pokemon Ranger Boy 12 will say what they say about how Serena is Ash's true love, how his relationship with May is really platonic, and that the advanced kiss is fake if they saw it for whatever reason. But here's one simple fact. These guys are not Nintendo. They're not Nintendo, they're not the Pokemon Company, or Satoshi Tajiri himself. Whatever reason people have for saying it's fake, it's most likely because they don't know how animation works behind the scenes. So I understand why you don't want to be so sure it's real, don't get me wrong, but because of Grail's comment and the research I've done, I learned you also can't be too sure it's fake. So if anything, these experiences are the reason why I believe a kiss under the mistletoe is real. And even if I wasn't so sure, I can still just ask Satoshi Tajiri. One last thing. I've been saying that Serena kissed Ash on the lips throughout this video, but that was because I've recorded those parts much earlier. I'm re-recording that to end this video because in doing research, I found an interview with Tetsuo Yajima where he said that Serena's love for Ash didn't come to fruition. Just because he ended it in a way where they hopefully become a couple doesn't guarantee anything. He also said that whether she kissed him on the lips, cheek, or just whispered something in his ear, it was supposed to be ambiguous, which means we don't really know what she did. Contrast that to the kiss from A Kiss Under the Mistletoe, where we do get to see Ash and May moodily kissing each other. My point is, even if Serena did kiss Ash on the lips, I think a part of why they kept it off-screen is because of the parental backlash against it, which I previously mentioned. It could be possible that they learned not to show kissing because of this. You could argue that I'm just saying this because I'm an advanced shipper, but Yajima doesn't say anything about Ash having feelings for Serena. Besides, he's not the director of the anime anymore, and Ash is no longer the star, so it's not like it matters anymore. Speaking of Ash not being the star, I previously mentioned Liko might be his daughter, but now it's been confirmed she's not. Apparently the similarities just make it a coincidence.